Hey, it's just math, y'all. Glad you could join us. We are going to do our last video on factoring, and this is a summary video on factoring. So, here we go. First thing we want to do for any factoring problem whatsoever is we want to check for GCF. If there is one, of course, we factor it out. And don't forget, we factor out negatives. If the first term is negative, we factor out a negative GCF. And so after we do that, then we count the number of terms we have. So if it has two terms, we're going to look to see if it falls into one of our special patterns. Okay, our special patterns, all three of them are there. You can watch the two previous videos to see if you've got those. All right. If there's three terms, then this is a trinomial. This is a trinomial. And generally, when you have two types of trinomials, the easy ones where the a is 1, and the not easy one when a is not 1. And that one uses the bottoms up method. All right. And if it has four terms, then we're going to use our grouping method. Okay. Now, a couple of tips. Look for a go again opportunity after each factoring, making sure that you factored everything out already, that there's not another pattern hiding in there. Make sure it's all done. And then if nothing works, this thing is prime. It's not factorable. Okay, so I've got a couple more examples I want to do. These are just kind of follow along here, just kind of summary. Here we go. All right, so the first thing that we always need to do is look for a GCF. Well, I see a negative staring at me, so I know I'm going to do a negative. But then I need to look at the numbers, and I'm thinking I can do a 2 or maybe a 3 or maybe a 6. I think it's going to be a 6 now that I think about it. Remember our little technique for doing GCFs if we don't know what it is? Y'all want to do that real quick? Let's do that real quick just to be sure. Okay, so remember our little quick check to see. We know we've got a negative, all right? And we know 2 would work, but let's just see. This is 15 times 10, and I think this is 2 times 48, okay? And so this is going to be 3 times 5, and this is 5 times 2. Okay, bring down that 2, and this is 6 times 8. Bring down that 2, this is 2 times 3, and the 8 is 2 times 4. Almost done. So 2, 2, 3, 2, 2, and 2. Oh, goodness, that was big. All right, so now my GCF, remember, do they have a 3 in common? Yes. Do they have a 5 in common? No. Have 5. Do they have a 2 in common? Yes. And that's it. So the GCF is 6. Okay, so we're going to factor out a negative 6. We're doing the negative because it says negative, and we're doing a 6 because we just figured that was the GCF. Okay, so now when I divide 150 by 6, I'm going to get 25. How'd you do that so quick? Here it is right there. It's 25. Okay, that was a cheap trick. 25x to the second. Now when I do 96 divided by 6, it's down here too, but it's not as easy. It's right here. That's technically 4 times 4, which is 16. But now remember, I took out a negative. So it's going to be a negative 16. So now let's look at this really hard before we go any further. Uh-oh, getting hiccups in the middle of my video. Okay. All right, so now my negative was negative 6, and then that's my leftovers. Okay, am I done? No, let's look back. Check for GCF. Done. count my number of terms. Well, I have 2 terms. Are they special? I have 2 terms. Are they special? Yes, they are. This is 5 times 5, and this is 4 times 4. And this is a subtraction. So this is going to be 5x minus 4 and 5x plus 4. It was special. That's my final answer on this one. Okay, next one. We're going down. First thing we're going to do is check for GCF. All right, do I have a GCF? And yes, we do. It is a 2. We didn't need to do our special thing to figure out what it was. It's 2. Okay, so let's divide this out. Let's take this out. Okay. There we go. All right, so we got that out. Now, how many terms are we dealing with? Well, we have 3 terms. So this is going to be a trinomial. This is 3 terms right here. The GCF is no longer part of our problem. It's part of our answer. Okay? And so I can just bring it all the way down to the bottom line. Okay? And so now this is my trinomial. A is not 1, so I've got to do the bottoms up. All right, so bottoms up, I'm going to take the 2, multiply it by the 3, and change that to a 6. Set it up. And now I'm going to have to divide by the 2 because I changed the problem. Put my x in place. All right, so now I need the 2 numbers that's going to multiply to give me the 6. They're going to add to give me a negative 7. All right, think about that for a few minutes. Those 2 numbers are going to be negative 6 and negative 1. So negative 6 and negative 1. Okay, so now I'm going to reduce. And the first one reduces to x minus 3. The second one does not reduce. Okay, so now move on. Then I'm going to bottoms up. And so that puts me at 2x minus 1. All right, don't forget my 2 that I brought all the way down and actually still had some room, so I can bring it up just a little bit. That is my final answer. I can't go again. I don't have any specials. Look at my parentheses. No specials, no common, no more GCFs. I'm done. All right, next one. Do we have a GCF? It looks like we do. Look carefully. No. 2 goes into the first ones, but not the second ones. X goes into 3 of them, but not. This has not got a GCF. Okay, count the terms. We have how many terms? We have 4 terms. So we're going to do our grouping method. Right, so this one's going to be a grouping method. And so we take the first 2 and we do GCF on the first 2. So that's going to be a 2x to the second. Is that right? Yep. And that's going to leave me with an x minus 7. I think that's right. Check your multiplication. All right, now I'm going to group the next pair. Remember, if the first term of your pair is negative, you've got to factor out a negative. Okay, so I'm going to factor out a negative, and 3 is what's common. And I'm going to be left with an x, again, minus 7, because a positive divided by a negative gives me a negative. All right, my parentheses match. So I have x minus 7. And then my second is 2x to the second minus 3. Okay, now let's check. Do you see a GCF in there? Does either one of those have a GCF? No. Are either one of those special? Because they both have 2 terms. Are either one of those special? No. Okay, we're done. No GCFs, nothing special. All right, we're done. All right, last one. Okay, this one looks interesting. Okay. sure I copied it right. I'm thinking maybe I did. All right, do we have a GCF all the way down? No. So again, grouping. Okay, so these two, we'll group these together. What's the GCF of those two? It would be x to the third. Okay, so x to the third, and that's going to leave me with an x plus, no, it doesn't leave me with an x, it leaves me with a 1, my bad, plus 7x to the third. This one's going to be a minus 7, excuse me, 9. We have an x plus 7. This is not looking right, is it? My variables don't match, do they? I think maybe I copied the problem wrong. Let me look, see if I copied the problem wrong. I did copy that wrong. That's supposed to be a 2. All right, that makes more sense. That makes a lot more sense. Okay, let's try again. Okay, so now common's x to the second. See, when those parentheses don't match, you know something is up. So go look for it. All right, so x to the second, so that leaves me with the x plus 7, and then minus a 9, and I'm left with x plus 7. Awesome. Okay, so now x plus 7 is my common, and then x squared minus 9. Now, am I done? No, there's a difference of squares. This one's special. This one's special. Check it out. Let's do it. Okay, so let's bring down the x plus 7 because that one's finished. And now my difference of squares, my special one here, that's going to be an x minus 3 and an x plus 3. That was special. That's the final answer on this one. That's the final answer on that. Okay, just a review of some of the things we've done. All right, hopefully that helped. It's just math, y'all. We've got one more section before we're done with chapter 5, and that's solving. Okay, and so be on the lookout for that. Y'all have a great evening. It's just math, y'all. You can do it.